This episode contains themes of political betrayal, death, religious manipulation, and familial conflict. Listener discretion is advised. One was born into fire, the other into faith. Both wielded power, but wore it like armor. Rhaenyra Targaryen was promised a crown, but given a war. A dragon made flesh, haunted by duty, legacy, and the shadows of her bloodline. Clarice Orsini moved behind the veil of papal courts and noble chambers. A duchess, a strategist, a quiet queenmaker with poison in her prayers and politics in her smile. One ruled with fire, the other ruled with silence. But in a world where bloodlines shape destinies and ambitions devour virtue, only one queen walks away from the ashes. Welcome to CHAOS CRUCIBLE, the arena where power meets purpose and history rewrites itself in blood. I'm your host, and today we pit two women born in different empires, yet forged by the same brutal truth. In the game of crowns, mercy is a liability. From the scorched skies of Westeros to the candlelit chambers of Renaissance Rome, this is not just a clash of cultures. It's a war between fire and faith. One rides dragons, the other commands legions with a whisper. This is Clarice Orsini versus Rhaenyra Targaryen. Rhaenyra Targaryen was born into fire, the firstborn daughter of King Viserys I. She was named his heir in a kingdom that had never crowned a queen in her own right. From the moment she could walk, she was surrounded by symbols of power: Dragonstone, the Iron Throne, a dynasty built on blood and flame. But being a Targaryen meant more than noble birth. It meant bearing the weight of prophecy, of ancient Valeria's expectations, of the throne's silent demand that it would cut those unworthy to sit upon it. Rhaenyra learned to ride dragons before she learned diplomacy. Her bloodline was power itself. And yet, power without acceptance is a curse. Once, they called her the realm's delight. But affection fades quickly when succession looms when her father remarried. When sons were born to a second wife, the kind that say a woman on the throne would be a doom to the realm. Rhaenyra did not seek war, but she would not surrender to the silence. She crowned herself queen. She mounted Syrax. She split the realm in two to prove what was promised to her was not a gift, but a right. Her rule was never secured, but her will never faltered. She was born to kings, forged by betrayal. She fought not just to reign, but to prove to herself that she deserved it. Clarice Orsini knew expectation as well. Born into one of Italy's oldest noble families, she carried the weight of a name tied to popes, generals, and cardinals. When she married Lorenzo de' Medici, she brought with her more than a dowry. She brought Roman prestige, papal favor, and a sharp, calculating mind. Clarice did not seek a throne. She became the quiet force behind one. Through diplomacy, charity, and alliances, she shaped Florence not with fire, but with faith and finesse. She whispered what others shouted. She maneuvered where others marched. Her power echoed through convents and courts alike. While Rhaenyra stood on battlefields, Clarice ruled from behind the veil. Each forged their own influence in a world designed to erase them. One by force, the other by patience. Two women, two worlds. One fighting to change her fate, the other mastering it from within. They may have never met, but the legacies ask the same question. What does true power look like when the world tells you it is not yours to hold? Rhaenyra's strength was direct. She was a dragon rider, a commander. When the realm questioned her claim, she didn't flinch. She raised banners and breathed fire. Her strategy was rooted in presence. Show them the queen they feared. Make them choose between duty and destruction. But war demanded more than fury. It demanded calculation. And here, Rhaenyra faltered. Trust misplaced. Allies strained. a realm torn too quickly. Her fire burned bright, but sometimes too wild. Clarice, on the other hand, moved through shadows. She dealt in alliances, not armies. While Lorenzo ruled Florence, she ruled its soul. Her strength wasn't in force, it was in persuasion, positioning, and patience. Where Rhaenyra swung swords, Clarice moved pieces. But don't mistake grace for weakness. Clarice's restraint was power, the kind that doesn't scorch the earth but quietly reshapes it. Rhaenyra roared, Clarice whispered, each effective, each dangerous. They stood on opposite ends of history, one a storm of dragons, the other a quiet storm of diplomacy. But make no mistake, both were warriors in their own right. Rhaenyra Targaryen was born into fire, but she fought with strategy. She was no mindless dragon rider. She understood the weight of succession, the threat of perception, and the cost of loyalty. Her tactics were layered, symbolic displays of power, political marriages, and carefully curated alliances. Yet she was also bold when needed, riding into battle, defying council votes, and asserting her title even as the realm split around her. Her legacy is war, and not just the dance of the dragons, but the generational trauma it seeded in Westeros. In contrast, Clarice Orsini played a longer game, quieter, but no less impactful. Clarice is remembered not for rebellion, but for restraint. In the gilded web of Florentine politics, her power came through influence, not bloodshed. She guided popes, protected dynasties, and wielded silence like a blade. Her strength lay in perception, the ability to remain a pillar of virtue while shaping power behind closed doors. Her legacy isn't a battlefield, it's a blueprint, a manual for surviving and thriving in a world that never wanted to hand her the crown. Two paths, two philosophies, but the same unwavering will. Where Rhaenyra dared to take the throne, Clarice made sure it never left her family. One fought for power, the other preserved it. And in their defiance, both became immortal. In the end, it's not about fire or faith, thrones or thorns. It's about two women who refuse to bow, to men, to fear, to fate. Clarice Orsini was forged in a world that silenced women, and she responded with whispered power and iron resolve. She fought from the shadows, wielding influence like a scalpel, sharp and deliberate. Her victory was survival, her legacy, endurance. Rhaenyra Targaryen, heir to flame and fury, lived and died in open defiance. She embraced the chaos of her birthright and dared to claim what was hers. Even in death, her name burns through history, a martyr to many and a monster to others. They never met, never crossed swords, but their legacies still clash across time. One led through manipulation, the other through fire, but neither were ever truly free. So who wins? In truth, no one. Because some battles are too costly, some legacies are too scarred. This crucible ends in a draw. Because some wars leave no victors, only ruin, and some queens are destined only to be remembered. Power isn't always claimed with dragons or daggers. Sometimes it whispers from the shadows, orchestrating history from behind velvet curtains. Clarice Orsini mastered that language. Rhaenyra Targaryen rejected it, choosing the flame over finesse. Both women wanted the world to bow, one through lineage, the other through influence. But in the end, only one legacy can be etched into the stone of victory. In the crucible, there is no mercy, only the story that survives. This has been Chaos Crucible, where history's fiercest minds and mightiest warriors meet at the edge of fiction and fire. I'm your host. Until next time, choose your battles wisely.